this.
On behalf of Portland Public Schools Focus on Diversity, I'd like to welcome you today to our focus on innovation and creativity through the lens of equity within our charter schools. And so we are really privileged today to have 3 different charter schools within Portland Public Schools discuss their work through an equity lens, and their work particularly with students of color and their culturally relevant programming.
But I just have to start by saying that the equity movement and the equity work that we do at LEAP is some of the most important work that we believe we do. We have, in my opinion, a very diverse population, and I mean that in all extremes, from the levels and skill sets that our kids come to us with, to the issues that impact their lives outside of the school day, to the very obvious, if you will, in terms of the impact of color, hair type, and experience, life experience. We'd like to think that we stay away from focusing on business's profit, but we understand that's the reality of our world. So we try to really encourage our kids, if they're going to go with business entrepreneurship and really look at that as being the next step in life, to think about how can they create a business that helps their community? How can they create a business that does something for folk who are in need? We have about 52% of our students are free and reduced or on free and reduced lunch. Average daily attendance is about 80%. Of course, we would like that to be much higher, and we're taking measures to do that.
I am also, this year, been honored to be the equity coordinator, and I teach a new class that I developed that I was honored to have the opportunity to do, which is called, not yet, just the slideshow.
Okay, sorry.
Which is called Critical Race Studies. We went back and forth, my former principal and I, on this name. She wanted it to be American Studies for college prep purposes. I was really attached to critical race theory or critical race studies to just really hit home what this course is developed to do. Luckily, I have the autonomy to create without textbook. There are not very many textbooks around this work, and if any, and none at the high school level. So I feel like this is groundbreaking work, and I'm just really honored to work in a space where they trust me enough to create this for our young people. You can push play. It's because of this that it is essential to understand how race and institutionalized racism may predetermine our path. In order to seek to actively change it, we must know what the history is in order to create a better future. This is a really scary topic for some people, and it's a really big topic. Carl and I both believe firmly that if we can start younger, it just opens so many more doors and actually breaks down so many more walls. Racial identity models, so they look over both people of color, that identity model, and then also for white people, and that's taken from Helms. And there's a whole bunch of identity models out there, but I've adopted ones that I feel like are the most understandable for the students, and then we look at where they fall in those identity models. The dominant culture or white culture, so really getting into understanding American culture and what that looks like, and that is a white dominant culture we live in. One of our big units is on institutionalized racism. This is after they understand the history of race in this country and how it has created these systems. And so everything from, you can keep going, Carl, everything from education, who receives access, the criminal justice system. We use Michelle Alexander's book, The New Jim Crow. With this would be that our white students may have a harder time in this conversation, and as far as the empowerment goes, that they equate power with white power, and it's very important as an educator to make sure that they can understand they can be empowered and be very proud to be who they are, and that doesn't mean that they have to think they're better than somebody else. And so that's where that racial empowerment piece comes in, and then also for our young people of color, finding empowerment and pride for being who they are and not who this white dominant culture expects them to be. for change, really pushing home for our white students how to be allies to this conversation, allies to this work, just to racial justice. And then for our kids of color, how to be advocates for change, if that's what they choose to be. And from my experience, you can't sit through 6 months of this stuff and not be outraged or not want to be a catalyst for change. And I know, I don't know about I'm just saying, working with young people as educators, that's what we hope to see the most, I would say, out of our young people, is that that's what they want, that they want to do something about it, and that's what I've seen. I hadn't the slightest clue of my privilege that being a white man had brought me. I assumed that the course would just be designed to make the white people in class, like myself, feel guilty about history. The class taught me how to look at life with a racial lens.